I should probably start this by saying that this video isn't bashing newer games. I'm just exploring and delving into a phenomenon I've been seeing recently. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, I was playing Schedule 1. It was pretty fun, being able to do so much in a GTA-like setting. I had some good moments, but other than that, it was pretty okay. After about 3 or 2 days, I stopped playing it. It wasn't like I was terribly busy, I just ceased all motivation to play it. Since then, it's been sitting in my Steam account with the hundreds of other games that I don't play, but I'm still trying to figure out why I stopped playing it. My friends did too. It wasn't like the game was boring or the developer did something that killed the game. The game was actually really fun when I was playing it. During the 3-day span of when I was playing Schedule 1, I kept begging my friends to join the server and further our base. But I just stopped, and I can't be bothered to go back. Has this ever happened to you? Yes it has. You don't even have to answer that question. I already know this happened to you. But why? I've been noticing this trend recently. It started around 2018 but truly took off after 2020. Multiplayer games that people only really play for 2 weeks. After that 2-week period, the developer realizes what's happening and tries to revive the game, but nothing works. They add battle passes, skins, anything they could think of, but it still doesn't work. And when the developer realizes that, they just give up. And then the game truly dies. Some people might still stick around to play the game, but the majority of the initial consumer base is long tapped out. And guess what? They're on to the next game, and that game is exactly like the one that came before it. The cycle repeats. People start hyping up a new multiplayer game, becomes extremely popular and everyone's playing it, and then all of a sudden it dies and people start playing another game. There's one game I keep coming back to though, one that is also multiplayer, has tons of things to do, and is extremely fun with friends. It has the same qualifications as Schedule 1, or even Lethal Company, but I still keep coming back to it. And every time I do, it never fails to entertain me. Left 4 Dead 2, probably the golden child of all multiplayer games. Released in November of 2009, it still maintains 25,000 players daily. It has more players daily than Cyberpunk, Gary's Mod, Pal World, Balatro, even NBA 2K25, and that game had millions upon millions of dollars put into it. Left 4 Dead 2 really allows for you and your friends to mold the experience instead of the game doing it for you. At least that's why I think I love it so much. It's almost never what happens in the game, but what happens with you and your friends that makes the game so much fun. All the random shit that happens is definitely my favorite part of playing with friends. As for the game, the plot is pretty simple. I understood it as a kid and I understand it now. The unique cast of zombies and great maps only helps to add on to that level of fun, unmatched by anything released after. The characters each feel like real people and you can tell they have a lot of passion and time put into them, especially Ellis. My favorite special zombie has to be the tank. He switches up the gameplay format and forces everyone to think and come together instead of mindlessly shooting off zombies. It's simplistic, but there's also a ton to do and see. So many weapons, zombies, characters, and maps, but never once does it feel overwhelming. It's just a great experience you can hop on with your friends, family, online friends, dogs, celestial beings. No matter who plays it, they'll have a good time. The same could be said for Minecraft. Now that's a game everyone could play, and I mean everyone, even toddlers. I come back to it every so often, for like a week or two, known as the 2-week Minecraft phase or whatever it's called. Just like Left 4 Dead 2, it's extremely simple, but has a lot to offer. I spend most of my time building houses or just looking around with friends. If you're bored and have no games to play, I would recommend just going back to Minecraft for a bit, even for a couple of weeks. Even better if you play the old versions instead of the modern versions. Notice how I said old versions, and I think that's the key to understanding what made multiplayer games. Minecraft's current situation perfectly represents what's going on right now. There's a reason why people prefer to play old Minecraft versions instead of newer, clearly better ones. As Minecraft has grown in popularity, it felt the need to constantly upgrade and make the game feel newer, to make the gameplay feel fun and fresh. It's the most played game in the entire world, yet updates are still being released for it. It feels like they're trying to replicate what made Minecraft special in the first place. Sometimes they have their viral little moments, like the new happy gas they're adding to the game, but I guarantee you everyone's gonna forget about it after 2 or 3 weeks. I feel like this current predicament perfectly represents current multiplayer games as a whole. As a developer, you have to realize that most likely people will forget about your game after a while and move on to the next thing, and you have to capture that audience. That pressure and rush force on a developer leads to somewhat fun games that don't really have a lot to them, but doing repetitive tasks, relying on humors of the gameplay. The feeling I'm getting from most of these multiplayer games I've been playing recently is that they're trying to replicate what once was. They're trying to find that spark games like Left 4 Dead 2 had that made it such a great experience. That's not to say that there haven't been great multiplayer games coming out though. Among Us had so many factors working towards its success. The time it was released, the gameplay, all of those factors came together to create the perfect multiplayer game. Not really perfect, but extremely good. Anyone could get into it. There were always people hosting servers and the gameplay was simplistic. It relied on mostly player interaction, especially with the report mechanism that the game relies on. Sound familiar? The only difference from this game and Left 4 Dead is the characters and plot. That's probably why this game did so well upon release, that and the pandemic. What makes games like Schedule 1 for me so unable to play after 2 weeks was a combination of some factors, including the replication thing. I had a feeling of burnout even though I had only played for 2 days. Why? I had basically played the entire game in those 8 hours of playtime. Everything else to do in that game felt like the same thing I was doing previously. There was little to no variation in the gameplay but upgrading your base and upgrading your plants. My friends felt the same way as well. There's no way for us to communicate in game as well, so we had to get on call and use Steam chat, which is bad if you've ever tried to use it, just to talk to each other. I feel horrible saying this, but this game feels like it's following a trend, trying to replicate the same elements as Lethal Company, but even that game had some way for players to talk and communicate in game. It feels like GTA, but if you stripped it of most of its mechanics and focused on one repetitive, boring task. I know that isn't what the developer had in mind, but that's what the game feels like to me and many of my friends. On the positive side, I did like the unique approach and dark theme that the game was going for. It's unique in its style and approach. I haven't really seen a game like it in a long time. The only game I can really think of is Octodad. I really did like Schedule 1 when I was playing it. It's a great game that just needs a little bit of tweaking and gameplay adjustments. Burnout is the biggest factor for the quick death of these games though. Everyone needs a quick dopamine fix of a multiplayer game with quirky gameplay and wacky humor, and they need it fast. Once they get bored of one, they switch onto the newly conveniently released one. Multiplayer games in the 2010s avoided this by focusing on player interaction and substance, instead of quirky aspects and goofy bits, as weird as that sounds. Every multiplayer game did its own unique thing. It wasn't like everybody was copying the same format. The reason why Left 4 Dead does so well to this day is because of that. They wanted to appeal to everyone, and took their time crafting a beautiful game that's simplistic in nature, but has so much community, value, and details if you look hard enough. Simplistic in nature for everyone, details for the ones that truly love and care for the game. When you focus on those details like humor and start leaving other parts out, that's when you start to see games like Lethal Company. When I was growing up, I didn't really like gritty first-person shooters all that much. Yes, I was that type of kid. But games like Halo 3 still appealed to me with this multiplayer mode. I couldn't care less about the story mode, but you could catch me devoting hours of my time playing Avalanche and fun maps with my friends on the Xbox 360. The Halo 3 community created so many great maps and produced so many great videos that I remember fondly from my childhood. Allowing custom maps made from players only helped but add onto a great game that didn't really need it in the first place. Left 4 Dead 2 also has a great community built into the game, as well as Minecraft. My point is that, well, I don't really have a point. Hopefully some developer sees this and creates a vibrant, wonderful game using some of the things I just said. I don't hate these trend multiplayer games coming out. I just wish they would spend some time playtesting it and seeing if the game gets boring after 8 hours. How even adding better ways for the players to communicate would be better. I hope I answered any questions on why people find 2010's multiplayer games better than the ones that are coming out today. It's a question I've had on my mind for quite some time, now thanks to the abysmal play count Schedule 1. It's a shame because a lot of these games have great style, plot, and gameplay. They're just missing the part where the player comes into the picture. What was your favorite 2010s multiplayer game growing up? Mine was probably Left 4 Dead 2, like everyone else watching this video. Other than that, I will see you in the next video. Thanks for the support.